भजन इज गीता पढ़ूं मैं, गीता लिखूं मैं, गीता में हरदम खोई रहूं मैं, गीता मेरे नस नस से टपके।
क्या है यार, ढूंढा भी तो फीमेल ढूंढी, टपक।
टपके भी तो वैसे ही।
हाँ, बोलते आनंद ढूंढू मैं, तो फिर मैं मानती। कैसे कैसे लोग होते हैं, कंप्लीट कमीने। एक मिनट, स्पेलिंग क्या है यार भागवत के? भागावत।
हाँ, भागावत।
इज इट चैप्टर 2?
रिकॉर्डिंग शुरू हो गई, हाँ जी। रिकॉर्डिंग शुरू हो गई। चैप्टर 2 भागवत गीता। एंड द मीटिंग इज ऑनलाइन।
या ना, मीटिंग इज ऑनलाइन। अब आप फेसबुक देखो कि लाइव आ रहा है।
यस, शुरू हो गया। द मीटिंग इज नाउ स्ट्रीमिंग लाइव ऑन द फेसबुक।
गुड. So hello everybody, good evening. It's 7 o'clock in the evening and today's Karwa Chauth. So
Yes.
my, how do you say, I wish to every woman who is praying for her husband's long life that everything remains beautiful and you stay blessed forever. We have our guest, Dr. Archana, and see how she's beautifully dolled up. And I'm also keeping Karwa Chauth, but look at me.
I was about to ask Anu, where is all your dressing up? Where did it all go?
Well, it's there in my heart. It will always be there in my heart, and I will always be
Great.
honest in my heart. This is who I
No, I'm sure this is what you are. And yes, this is one day of the year where I love getting dressed up like this.
wonderful.
And I
So pretty. So pretty.
thank you. Thank you.
So this
And
takes to Delhi before we go to anything else. These are the days when I was staying in Delhi. My son was just about to, and we were standing there in the balcony, and all the women were dressed up. Today he is 27 years of age, but on that day he was 1 year of age. And what was happening was amazing. I was standing in
okay.
my thoughts in the balcony, feeding him, and he was busy putting food all over me, which was quite an irritating fact that it was gone. And there were these really a group of women who walked by dressed and dolled up like Archana. And they
Yeah.
stood up and said, "What happened to you?" I said, "A child." So,
A baby happened.
guys, okay, chalo, let's start from here.
Okay.
Archana, we had
Great.
a nice talk yesterday, and we spoke about the small eye,
Yeah.
big eye. We spoke about the Krishna consciousness, and we also spoke about the moho or the love and the attachment. So could you take us further into what Bhagavad Gita is all about? Thank you.
And Dr. Archana here. And yes, we were speaking about attachment, which in Hindi we call moh, and prem, which is love. The they're very small words, they're very emphatic words, they're very meaningful words, and they are at the base of Bhagavad Gita. It started because of moh of Arjun, which he is feeling towards his loved ones. See, it is not wrong to have attachments. If a mother would not, Anu just mentioned this, if a mother would not have attachments, she will not clean the dirt of her baby. She will not clean. She does all that dirty work out of love, affection. But in case when it comes down to your loved ones, the word is more because you get caught in it. आप उसमें फंस जाते हो.
It's a
You
web,
have to,
right? It's a web of love.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Archana,
Absolutely.
people your Mendi. I just want to say something that you just said. Just show them. This is an Indian tradition wherein we wear mehendi, and this is to show that this mehendi, the
Yeah.
we are creating, the darker it gets, we say, the more your loved ones love you, the more your
Yeah.
husband is in love with you, and the darker it gets. And women love it when it gets really dark, because according to them, that's an indication that their man
Yeah.
really loves them from the heart, and that's the moho we are talking about. That's the love we are talking about. We get
Absolutely.
trapped in these stories of attachment, and love and attachment are so into each other that at times it may be difficult to separate out the two.
Okay. Now, basically, what I'm trying to tell everybody that we need to have attachments. We need to have more, but we need to love or have more attachments in the way a nurse has it. You know, when a baby is born, and for some reason, if the baby is in the hospital ICU, or if you keep a nurse for your young ones at home, you know, the nurse takes care of the baby like a mother does. She cleans, she feeds them, she takes care, gives the medication, takes care of every nitty gritty, small needs of the baby. But she is not attached. There is no motor involved. You are taking care of the baby, yes, you're taking care. The same way, when we are born on this earth, that is what Lord Krishna is trying to teach us, that every member that you have, love them, cherish them, service them, provide for them, take care of them. But do it like a nurse. Just take care that you are not getting emotionally involved, that tomorrow for some reason, if you need to take a stand or a decision or any kind of action against them, you are capable of doing that. Don't get entangled in the web. That is the basic, because it is very difficult to have a relation, to look after somebody, to take care of someone and not get emotionally involved with them. That is more. And that is the reason why Arjun is stranded where he is in the war of Mahabharat and telling Krishna, I do not want to fight my loved ones, because he has been bashed by Moh. He is totally blinded by Moh. And that is what Krishna is telling them, that Arjun, you are not just the five elements, you are not just this body. You were there in the past, you're there today, and tomorrow you will be there. Similarly, all your relatives were there, they are present today on the ground, willing to fight against you, and they shall come back again in some form or other. So you need to fight your wars. You need to take the right decisions. You have to have the strength to fight the wrong.
Is it
Whoever,
so, Archana? Is it war or is it taking stand for yourself?
it is taking stand for yourself, but it is in this case a war. And Anu, it is not easy to take stand against your loved ones, take a strong decision against your loved ones, not bothering about the result of the action. That is the another extension of that chapter.
Is the attachment about the outcome?
Not only the outcome, the fear of losing them.
Ah, okay.
It's the fear. I will lose them. I'll lose all of my loved ones. What will I have? Arjun is telling Krishna that even if I win the war, I am going to kill all my loved ones, all their brothers, and the children, and the next generation also. What will I gain? Just a piece of land. Whereas Krishna is telling them that this war is not just for the piece of land, it is for the injustice that has happened. So you need to fight the war. Similarly, we all have to fight our wars. We have to take the right perspective with decisions, which we do not take due to our more attachments.
And is that one of the biggest reasons, guys, today for any kind of illness or disease? Because we are not at ease with what is going on, and yet we continue to push and pull ourselves to kind of say, no, no, I will continue to not take a stand for me. I will continue to create just harmony, and I will continue in that state of harmony, but there is at the cost of internal harmony. There may be external harmony, but internally we are breaking down. So when we're talking about these attachments, this moho, could you go a little bit more on, for the audience, what really is the criteria of moho? What is the difference between just prem, that is love, and moho, which is attachment and prem together or love together? So what's the difference? Because in Indian language, in our Hindi language, we have one word that kind of puts two things together, and that beautiful word is moho. It's not just attachment;
Yeah.
it's two mixed together, interwoven.
No, no.
Difference. Did I say something wrong?
Anu, see, it is. No, no, no. I couldn't hear you, Beach.
Okay, I'm
The
sorry.
net, the net went off.
Okay.
That's it. It is very simple. Moh is not a one-way traffic, whereas love, when you are giving love, love is just one-way traffic. If I love Anu Mehta and I love Anu Mehta, and whether Anu Mehta loves me or not, I love Anu Mehta. It is there. I am not expecting anything in return. Unconditional. That is love. More is never unconditional. Whenever you have more or attachment with somebody, trust me, somewhere or other, there is some kind of expectation, if nothing else. I don't want money from you. I don't want this. I don't want that. I don't want that. No, but you can at least give me some respect. What is that respect? Expectation. We are very clever. There's a very beautiful sentence that comes in is, it is, be clean rather than be clever. Be clean. Be as pure as you can be. And if it is purity, it will be love. Without any expectations, come what? The way a mother looks after the baby. But again, there's a dilemma here. When the baby is small and the mother is looking after the baby, there's a lot of love involved. Okay? Mind you, but somewhere hidden in her love and affection, there's a thought, there is a desire that when I grow old, when I need that expectation, this baby, when he grows up, will take care of me. Can you see the irony hidden in that affection? That is the difference. Love will not expect anything, come what may, whether you get anything out of it. But yes, more attachments, they are full of two-way traffic. I love you, you love me, only then the relation works. No, that's more. Love is going to be unconditional. Anything. I mean, if I love somebody and if I am sitting here, the person is anywhere in the world, I am not expecting anything from the person. It is just my love. I love, and I love. And that is it. That is love. That's the basic difference.
That's a very difficult place to be in, Arjuna. I don't know how many people, and in fact, often I say this, that most of our relationship are need based. Uh, you do this for me, and I do that for you, is what is going on in
Give and take.
today's story.
Yeah.
And somewhere I do not really believe. I have been asking all my speakers this: what is love? They've given me varying answers. What I
Okay.
meant to say is that, is there anything called unconditional love? Because we love these words like unconditional, but even in unconditional, there is conditional.
That's why I cited that example of the mother. Na?
Absolutely.
That we say mother's love is the most unconditional love on the earth. There is nothing pure, and It is a fact that that is the purest form of love that you can feel. That happiness that a mother goes through when she holds her baby for the first time, it's unconditional.
Absolutely.
Okay.
I mean, we both have our children, so we know
Mhm.
that feels. And
Yes.
I remember when I first got my baby, I told myself, when did how did I ever think that my mom doesn't love me?
Yeah.
And I remember saying to everybody, you know what? I love my baby so much. I did not understand this part of motherhood before. But really
You'll never understand until you hold your baby. You
understand,
never can. You
you
cannot.
never can. So I get that. And in that also, you're saying there is this whole condition,
Yes.
the
Yes.
trap in a trap.
The trap in the trap. Just imagine Arjun is supposed to be one of the very educated, learned, Gyani, knowledgeable one, the knowledgeable Pandavas,
The wise.
the wise. And still he was caught in the trap of war.
So it's the web of this conditioning, this web that
Yes.
we are sitting in, how love should be, and how
Anu,
love,
I'll give you a very small example.
okay?
You know what happens? Why we get attached? It is something like, everything is me, I. That's where we started from, the small I and the big I.
Yes.
Once you live, once you understand the fact that you are made of the five elements,
Hmm.
and the only reason that you are moving, eating, tasting, breathing, smelling, loving, touching, expressing anything
Yes.
is because of the part of Paramatma that exists in you.
Yes.
Okay, first of all, you tend to get humble and you tend to get numb. Namrata is the word here that is required. You get humble, you get little acceptance that you are not capable of even going till the washroom on yourself
Yes.
until and unless
Yes.
that that strength, that atma in you is
Yes.
in a perfect harmony with your body and mind and capable of taking you to the washroom.
Wow.
Every morning, we all Indians love our bed tea. It's a very small thing. 1 cup of tea, I have counted the ingredients, are made of using 11 ingredients. 11 ingredients means just the ingredients, the utensil, the match, the lighter, everything, including all the elements I'm talking about: water, fire, you, the utensil, the sieve, the tea leaves, the milk, everything. All right, there are 11 of them. And when the cup of tea is made, we so, full of pride, we say, "How's the tea? Do you like it? I made it." We take the contribution of all the 11 things into just our pride. We never acknowledge the tea leaves for giving their fragrance, their taste, their flavor. We never thank the fire to boiling the water. We never thank the water that it boiled and made our tea. We never thank, if even one item of the 11 is missing, we cannot have our tea. Or let's assume all of them are there, and if the atma in your whole five element is not there, you are not capable of making the tea. A small work like just making a cup of tea, you're not capable of doing it if you do not have the identity of atma inside you. Atma is that Paramatma's part, which is the energy which is moving your five elements.
So
So
Atma is the spirit in you.
yes,
And
the
this
soul, the spirit, the energy, the Krishna, the Krishna consciousness, call it whatever. If
vitality.
it is not there, you cannot move the vitality. Yes. And we are so proud. Chai, I made the tea, tell me how it is. Instead of thanking each and everyone, having gratitude for everything, that is what Krishna is teaching. Have gratitude. The example I gave you of your slippers and the Kanjivaram sari. It does not matter how much it costs. What matter is, it is going to make you lie down on the ground flat. So we need to learn to be full of gratitude of each and every element, material, immaterial, and especially for the people who are living around us.
So in
It's
that,
very important.
actually look at it, it means that gratitude expresses love and expresses love to everything that is present in the environment. So
Yeah.
say when you bring my attention to the 11 ingredients, including the whatever is required to make a cup of tea, I don't think I have adequately ever looked at it like this. So that was a real beautiful example
We
where
have never. We have never.
I don't think we have,
Even I had never done it.
even you had never done it.
No,
Okay.
not before I was told by my guru to have a look that we are so full of pride of everything. Everything. And then Krishna comes up with this that you need to be thankful for everything and do our karma. That is the next chapter that we are going to be follow. That Krishna is saying, do your karma, do your action, do your work. Do
So
not
Karam,
wait or expect the result. Karma.
what
Yes.
is Karam? Can you explain to people what Karam?
Karma.
Because I've heard so much, my
Yeah.
karma, my Karam. According to me, the karma is very different story, but I want to hear from you before even giving my input there. But really, what is karma and what is karam?
It is basically the activity that we are doing in the material world. Anything and everything, from taking a breath, from cooking food, even serving a glass of water is a karam. Anu. Even that is a karam. If you are serving a glass of water, putting very good intentions in the water and serving it to somebody without expectation of any result, it is karam. And it is the word that we call is a nishkam karma. Nishkam karma is where we are doing the activity. It can be any activity. You are not looking at the result and doing the action. That means, in the term of sciences, you're not waiting for the reaction, you are just doing a conscious action. That is what karam is. From serving a glass of water to doing seva in a hospital to looking after people who are ill or just cooking food for people. Karam can be anything. All the activities that you're doing in your house, karam. That's your karma. In case of Arjun, he was a kshatriya. It was his karam to fight. Do I clear that with you?
Yes.
So anything and everything, wherever you are in position, whatever you are doing, for a cobbler, making shoes, mending shoes, repairing shoes is karam. For Sant Kabir Das ji, he is a very famous saint here in India. He was a Julaha. Julaha is a person who would weave clothes, and all he would do was weave two sheets of clothes from in the whole day, just two sheets, and it was like singing hymns and bhajans the whole day, and that was his karam. But he is worshipped because his karam was his prayer. What we call is karm hi puja. He didn't do anything else. And I'm forgetting the name of this particular saint who, Sadhana. He was Sadhana Kasai. Now, why I'm citing these different examples, that it has nothing to do with your profession. All right, karma has nothing to do with your profession. Kabir Das ji was a Julaha. Raidas was a, I think, Chamar. Sant Sadhana Kasai, he was a Kasai, he was a butcher. Now, just imagine, but he was a saint. How? He would say that who is cutting the animal is God, the animal himself is God, the one who is taking the animal is God. He would look at the soul power of his Isht, his beloved God in everything, the knife, the animal, the cutting, himself, and the person who's buying. So when everything for him was God, he was never, labeled like a butcher. He was called Saint Sadhana Kasai, and his profession was butchery. So it has nothing to do with your profession. A person sitting at home doing everything that a person who is supposed to do his duties in the house, look after children, cook food, wash clothes, he is doing or she is doing that particular jobs, all of them with Krishna consciousness in heart, without expecting any result of every karma, is a nishkam karma yogi. That karam is what we call activity or action done by a person without any slightest of expectation. See, even expectation of respect, of पूछ कि मेरे को पूछे तो सही, कोई मुझे पूछे तो सही, कुछ नहीं चाहिए मुझे, बस मुझे पूछे. Even that is wrong. That is what Krishna is saying, that please do all your actions without expectation of the result. And that is what he's telling Arjun, that Arjun, become a Nishkam Karma Yogi and do your action. Your action is the war. Do that without expectation of the result come what. He tells Arjun, see, if you die, you go to heaven and you get swarg and moksha. If for some reason you win, you still get to live the royal life and provide justice for your wife. So in both the cases, it is righteous for you to do your karma, whatever the outcome. So
So
in everyday life,
I've here very much ever
yes,
since you've been speaking. Most of the kids, especially in India, are taught to be better than their neighbor, are taught to be better than someone, somebody, somewhere. And we are constantly pushing them and saying, I want the outcome of your life to be like this, like this, like this, like this, and like this. I want you to do this, 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 and this.
yes,
If you didn't do this, you're not good enough. So, are we distorting their karma like that?
yes, we
No,
are.
it is not without an expectation. If the expectation of I should be respected is coming in the way of everything, then even the expectation of the parent, right from the time the baby is not even born, is it going to be boy? Is it going to
Yes,
is she going to be fair? Is she going to be dark? Is the boy going to be blue eyed, or is he going to have golden hair? In India, that's not possible, but yet expectation. And then is he going to be the neighbor's pride, or is he going to be your pride, or is he going to be your failure? So where are we then going in this world when we are talking about, on one end, no expectation, and all I can see around me is expectation, expectation, expectation?
exactly, Anu. That is why it is an irony that when I was sharing the example of mother, I could not stop myself by saying that even in that affection, there was a hidden desire to be taken care of in her old age. Similarly, sorry, today no water, so the throat is a little dry. So basically, what I'm saying is that actions, all of our actions from our childhood, from our conception, everything, yes, we are creating out of expectations only. Where is that lack of expectation? Krishna is telling all through, do your action without expecting the result. We are doing just the opposite because we haven't even understood the Gita. If only we can just try and do all our work without any kind of expectation, Anu will be the happiest person. I am doing this because I am loving it, not because I'm expecting a result. If a result comes by, I am very happy about that also. I will receive it with open mind. But just keeping the result in mind, I take a course of action is not right. That is what Gita is suggesting. And yes, what you said about expecting from kids from the womb is wrong. We've been doing it wrong.
Could this be the reason of many, many diseases in our body? We all have to think about it. Expectation, 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 no gratitude.
Yes.
Absolutely zero gratitude, and constantly saying, what have you done for me? What have you done for me? In reality, right from the time that we were inside the
Yeah.
mother's womb to our deathbed, even when we someone is doing and disposing our body of, we do not do it ourselves. Right from the time that we didn't even know how to walk, someone did it for us. And right now, till the time that we are going to die, someone is going to do something for us, and yet we feel unsupported. We feel without gratitude. I think it's time for us to really introspect into all this, that how do we want to live our life? And that's why I chose this time. I said, we're not going to fix any time as to when we're going to do this program, but we put in our best desire and say, let's do it. Let's do it. Let's go ahead and see
Exactly.
what happens. That's why I
Yeah.
called it an experiment.
And
And
right now, yeah.
so, Archana, when Krishna consciousness is brought in, what you're saying is that there is energy in everything. What you're
Yeah.
saying is that there is energy in my eyes, my nose, and each part of my body has a duty, has a karam to do, has a consciousness over there. So is it that when
Yes.
and a part of my
Yeah.
body isn't doing the job without any expectation, then also it is creating a problem? Like when my eyes are looking, it's having an expectation to see things in a certain way. Could that be also causing problems in our body? My tongue is speaking things with an expectation that I could make someone happy. Could that also be causing a problem? Just an introspection, just understanding, trying to understand more.
Right now, you just mentioned something about even death.
Yes.
There's a very beautiful line that was coming to my mind, which says that मोए को भी देते है प्रभु लकड़ी कपड़ा और आग. ठीक है, that means a dead body also receives its rightful wood, cloth and fire. That somebody will burn you once you die. जीवित नर चिंता करे ताके बड़े अभाग. That means जीवित नर is a living human being. He is about to create for him. I have to create my future. I have to create for my living. I have to, create and work hard and do action and do activity, do my karma. If I do not do it right, how will I save for my old age? When I die, who will burn me? So basically, look at the irony part, that our karma are so oriented to the result, that if I die, when I die, if I do not create so much, there won't be anybody to even burn me properly or even bury him. I mean, it can be anything. Are you getting it? Karam.
And there is
You are so karam is so result oriented. It is so result oriented. And God is saying that I am taking the responsibility that if for some reason you die and you don't have even a penny in your pocket, somebody will do your last rites. Maro to say, die at least.
exactly, and even if they don't do your last rites,
Yeah.
earth is so beautiful that it
Yeah.
you, and you will totally be the part of the earth.
Absolutely. You will go back to all the five
Go back,
elements where you came from.
yeah, from where you came.
Yeah.
Really, really want to thank you, Arjuna. And the day I was actually uh, doing the last rites for my father, and then after number of days when you take the matka to Nasik, and I was doing the last bit over there, I understood on that day. Very, it was a very difficult understanding, but an understanding that came from real experience, because the Pandit said, turn the matka around. And
Yes,
because
yes.
bone had got stuck in and it wasn't,
It symbolizes that.
my hand in to remove the last astis, that we call the last part of,
Yeah,
and I was touching his bone and the bone was in my hand.
yeah.
And there was this who I called my father, who was nothing but ashes and nothing but bone. In his death, he taught me the biggest lesson of my life, and that was, we are all going to become this dust and bone, which will go back into the
Yes,
water.
absolutely.
And we are doing a Bhiman pride of saying, I made something. You never made anything. You're not,
I create, I create.
I create. We never,
Anu, it is so humbling when you listen to Gita, and Krishna is just saying one small thing, that you are complete in this body. But what if I just loosen one small thing, one small nut here, with all your knowledge intact, with everything intact? We see so many diseases coming up: Alzheimer's, Parkinson's, dementia. Everything is absolutely fine about the person. But that one small thing, one nerve somewhere twitching wrong way, and all that pride goes down the drain because everything is there. The empire you created is there. You are there, your kids, your family, your house, your money, your property, your everything is still there. Where are you? That is what Krishna is trying to tell us.
so thank you so
Please,
much.
please devote everything to the energies.
Wow. Today's guys Karwa Chauth day, and Karwa Chauth, the women really dress up and they pray for the man, and they pray that he has a long life. And in my house, we both, that is Vikram and I, both fast for each other, that we both have long life. And what I'm trying to say right now is that we have expectation of a long life of someone. We have an expectation always woven into our systems and
We
rituals.
do, we do.
We do. And this is part of our system. What we really need to look at is, are we being authentic to ourselves? Are we being honest to ourselves? Are we always caught up in expectations? And are we inviting diseases because our expectation is
Correct.
maybe from our children, from our husband, from somebody, from some,
Anyone.
also understanding that we are not without expectations. Accepting that
No.
itself can be a very big thing. So, Archana, the last word to you before we call it a day and we meet again tomorrow. We haven't fixed the time, but we will be there tomorrow again, talking about Bhagavad Gita, talking about the second chapter of Bhagavad Gita, and going through it. So, this is just, like I said, a little experiment to see, does this really help you? And I am very sure that this is going to really, really impact you in many, many ways. Archana, over to you.
Just one last sentence. Whenever we are lying back in our bed about to sleep, whatever we've gone through the day, if we just have one thing in mind, there is nothing new under the sun. New. That is new, that has happened. There's nothing new under the sun. That will help us release so many things from within. I just lost my mother-in-law, and I have gone through, I'm still going. Today is a Karwa Chauth. It's a very big day for a daughter-in-law and a mother-in-law. And this sentence just helps me. It's very difficult to get over griefs of people, of your loved ones. But this sentence really helps me, that nothing is new under the sun. That's it.
Wow.
That
So,
is it.
whatever we are going through is a repetition, whether it's grief, whether it's disease, whether it's the pandemic, whether it's anything on this planet Earth, it was not new. Nothing is new, guys. What a beautiful way to end our show. Thank you so much. And meet you guys tomorrow.
Thank
I'm
you.
humbled completely. And yes, this is one of the most brilliant thoughts. Nothing is new, not even you and me.
No.
Not even you and me. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you. Good night. Thank you. Have a great festival, everyone. Bye.
Absolutely. Have a wonderful festival, all of you.